Richards is the Wigan fullback, then it's Roberts, Bailey, Carmont and Ainscough. And a bold gamble by Brian Noble. The youngster Sam Tompkins gets his first start in Super League at standoff alongside Thomas Luluai. Up front it's Fielden, Riddell, Palliasina, Hock, Joel Tompkins and O'Loughlin, who's the captain. And on the bench it's Coley, Hansen, McIlorum back after suspension, and O'Carroll. The coach, as I say, is Brian Noble. This is the way the Bulls line up. They're unchanged from last week. Platt at fullback, Sharif, Sykes, Nero and Tajulala, Jeffries and Deacon, who is the captain. Forwards, Burgess, Newton, Scruton, Menzies, Cook and Morrison. And the bench here is occupied by Godwin, Warrensey, Kopjak and James. The coach, Steve McNamara. Brian Noble on the left of your screen. He was our guest at the match at Huddersfield last night, and shaking hands with old friends in the Bradford Bulls camp. He confesses privately this is a big game for him. It always is when he is up against his former club. And there is Steve Menzies right at the middle of your screen, just moving to the left-hand side, wearing 11 for the Bradford Bulls. A Manly legend, a rock star in that particular part of the world. And it's our first look at him here tonight. He's 35 years young, 15 Australian caps and 20 for New South Wales. Out come the Bradford Bulls. They've played twice so far at home. They have yet to win. Wigan, it might be an 18 playoff series this year. Currently, though, these two clubs are out of it. If Wigan lose, it'll be the first time in 26 years that they will have lost their first 3 home league matches. They beat Harlequins last Saturday live on Sky to claim their first win of 2009. Now, Steve, the big talking point around this ground today is the fact that young Sam Tompkins at 19 begins life as a Super League first teamer, and on from the start, Tim Smith is dropped.
Brave move by Brian Noble, but I think the right one. In fact, if Sam Tompkins had not come off the bench last week against the Harlequins, made a fantastic break down the left-hand side, showed his quality, showed the speed, and I must say that he'll be a little bit nervous tonight, but he has the goods. No doubt Bradford coach Steve McNamara will certainly pick him out. We'll make sure that he has well, let's say, a nice welcome to his first ever start at Super League level. But both sides, they're desperate for a win.
Bradford get us underway. It's a high and hanging kickoff. Amos Roberts was the man underneath it. There's an early touch for young Sam Tompkins, and there's the first tackle on Stuart Fielden. Stuart Fielden, who has only scored 2 tries in his Wigan career, and both of those came against Bradford at Odsal. Here now is Gareth Hock for the Wigan Warriors.
He's a man, I think, that in the pack of this Warriors outfit really can lead by example. He's been playing well all season as Gareth Hock. He had a big game last week as well.
Luluai looking for Hock on the inside and finds him. And Deacon got him low down. Terry Newton was in there as well, and so too was the number 17 Nick Scruton, who made the short journey from the Leeds Rhinos to Bradford in the winter. Here now is Tompkins again, has the confidence to take this defence on. Tajulala is the man who gets to him first.
Good work by Wigan, keeping the ball alive. It was good offload by Palliasina.
Not the best kick from Richards, though, straight down the throat of Ricky Sharif. Signed from the Harlequins this close season. 8 tries in 24 matches for the Quins last year. Well, and there is Michael Platt, the fullback.
Unusual sight there. First in, on the chase with a big prop forward, Palliasina. But the young fella, Sam Tompkins, he certainly looks slick, doesn't he?
Terry Newton in at dummy half for the Bradford Bulls, goes left and finds Glenn Morrison. Not the best pass, it was just in front of Jeffries, but he manages to hang on to it just the same. There is Steve Menzies, 35 years of age, but can still do a fantastic job for the Bradford Bulls in Super League, says his coach. Both on and off the field. Little half break from Amos Roberts, meanwhile.
Coach Steve McNamara obviously feels that they're going to kick over onto that right-hand side. It was perhaps that Amos Roberts still trying to get used to the style of Super League in this country.
Pat Richards gets to his feet and plays the ball. And away goes Mark Riddell. The honours are pretty even in Super League meetings between these two clubs. They've played 37 times. It's 18 wins apiece. There have been just the one draw. Here, though, at Wigan, I suppose you can call the match at Widnes a Wigan home game last year. It's a little bit more in Wigan's favour. Sharif has the possession, but it came off a Wigan player. The knock-on, no advantage, so the referee will bring them forward to where the ball came free, and it's the turnover.
You know, I think, Eddie, the Bradford fans have arrived here today with an air of pessimism. It hasn't been the best start to the season when you look at the league table, and yet in the two games that they've played, they could very easily have won both of those matches. You know, territorially, they dominated their opponents. They were camped on their opponent's try line, but couldn't quite find a way of scoring and going on to win the game. Last week, in the last 30 minutes, they particularly missed the presence of Paul Deacon, who went off after suffering a very heavy knock. We see him now with the ball in hand. I think there's bandage around his head, covering some stitches that were put in.
Yes, there is Paul Deacon, the Bradford captain. Terry Newton, meanwhile, left-footed down towards Pat Richards. The ball bounces kindly for the Wigan fullback. Talking to Steve McNamara, he's very pleased with the way his team have played up to the try line. He says that all they need to do is just get the ball over the try line, score a couple of tries, the confidence will flood through them. But as far as he is concerned, he says the team is jumping on its toes and ready for this challenge here tonight.
Well, the build-up has always been good. Oh, good work by Riddell there. That's his second run from dummy half. Steve McNamara always confident of his side, but they've just panicked a little bit when they've got anywhere near the try line.
Thomas Luluai, Riddell at dummy half behind him. Here is Tompkins, goes short. O'Loughlin, good hands, Joel Tompkins. And Bailey just had a little fumble, just wasn't able to get going on the run quite as quickly as he had hoped. This is the last tackle. And here is young Sam Tompkins. He hoists it up in centre field. That's off a Wigan player again. Now then, he's going to give the knock-on here, I think, against Ricky Sharif.
Yep. Well, it was a high kick. Tompkins really got some height on that one.
It was Sykes who got their first hand to it.
I think we'll see more and more sides, Eddie, in Super League this year, putting in kicks in which their teammates can contest. So often, now with the standard of sides taking kicks that easily, you have to give yourselves a chance being there to contest the ball, and we've seen the benefits with Wigan doing that.
Not surprisingly, the centre, Paul Sykes, looked at the official, Ben Thaler. He thought that he'd been taken out before he got anywhere near that ball.
Wigan with head and feet at the scrum. It's Luluai finds George Carmont. Now it's Tompkins back to Carmont. And Carmont gets it into the face almost of Bailey. Important tackle there by Chris Nero. Here is Joel Tompkins.
Interesting to see Wigan doing an old-fashioned run around in the build-up to this.
Paliasina pumping the legs. 1, 2, 3, 4 there to bring the big Kiwi down. And that's Riddell!
Held up.
Riddell is held up.
Good work by the fullback, Michael Platt. Good position by the official, Ben Thaler. But they are looking very slick indeed, the Cherry and Whites. It needed good defence from the Bulls to keep them out.
So they'll begin again, 10 metres away from the line because he was held up over the try line. This is Thomas Luluai. Now the last tackle here for Wigan, this set of 6. They go down the right side with Tompkins and slide the kick in, but that is too long. Tajulala and Platt able to allow that to run dead.
What's this? How old is this one? It's called simple, well, not the run around, but the front around. He went in front of it.
It's a move that Tuera whilst his time at Warrington, brought into the British game. But I watched both sides warm up, lads, and I noticed that both teams wanted to play with a lot of width. They were getting the ball through the hands. And we think of Bradford sides, and we think of the power and the size of them. And if you look at, you know, the likes of Sam Burgess, Nick Scruton, Cook, Menzies, Morrison, they're athletes now. They're not so much power, they're more about agility.
Platt takes the 4th tackle for Bradford, Newton. And here is Menzies again.
That's fine.
Going towards Gareth Hock. Hock affects the tackle. Deacon in at dummy half. Here now Ben Jeffries. Dab down the line for Ricky Sharif to chase. Awkward bounce at the last minute for Pat Richards.
Ooh, good offload there. It looked as though he was going. And how's that for confidence?
Ainscough getting the ball back to George Carmont, who plays the ball again to Ainscough.
Great work, you know, by Pat Richards. He knew he was going towards the whitewash. Slip on the inside, young Ainscough. Oh, it's all action.
It is.
Cherry and white so far.
Let's go down to the sideline, Bill.
Eddie, just to confirm that Sam Tompkins in the starting lineup on merit, and Tim Smith was a pretty dejected figure on the sidelines. Earlier on, as Wigan warmed up, he was still in his jacket and tie on the sidelines, and there's no injury. Tim Smith has been left out by Brian Noble, purely on form, and of course the other factor is Michael McIlaurin available again after suspension for Wigan.
And a problem for Paul Deacon. He just needed a bit of treatment on the run there from the Bradford physio. Yes, Tim Smith was named as 18th man by Brian Noble yesterday.
Well, he's proven his worth, is Sam Tompkins there. It was excellent stuff right from the first marker position. He's not only talented with ball in hand, he gets through a lot of work in defence.
Terry Newton just pushes Glenn Morrison out of the way at dummy half. And here is Morrison now. He was available to take that pass. Tompkins with the tackle. And Jeffries will hoist the kick. Ainscough is underneath this, but it bounces back, and it's still with Bradford. Menzies gives it to Sharif. Sharif inside then to Deacon. They'll try down the other wing then. Tajulala knocks it back, and it's picked up by Bailey. Bailey then gives it to Amos Roberts. Roberts is on his own. There's no Wigan player around him.
Quick play the ball, that's what's needed.
Sam Tompkins. Here is Carmont. Carmont to Pat Richards, a great pass. And Richards will just stroll over underneath the sticks for the first Wigan try. Pat Richards, the Irish international, of course, after his exploits in the green jersey in the World Cup in Australia. And Pat Richards, well, he just hit that little inside ball at pace, and once he had the ball in hand, there was nobody at home in defence for Bradford, and it was a stroll in for the fullback.
Kick into the corner, put them in this position, and Carmont finds the fullback with considerable ease as well. Bradford's defence was all over the shop. It needed a very quick play the ball indeed, and Tompkins got it out to Carmont. It's a stroll in the end for Pat Richards, but you sort of sense that it was coming because it's been all Wigan so far. It's been perhaps one of their better starts for a long, long time.
If ever there was an advert for dropping a player, Eddie, the first 10 minutes from Wigan here today has been that. Smith, as we've said, is sitting on the bench, and I don't think we've seen a better impressive start from players like Mark Riddell at hooker, who's had 3 probing runs, and 1 or 2 of the other guys out there. They've shown that nobody's immune to the chop, and I think they've all lifted their performance as a result.
Richards scored the try. Richards adds the extras. Wigan are ahead by 6 points to 0.
Good work by Sam Tompkins. He was there to get inside, but it's his defensive quality as well. There's not much about him, but he really does work overtime. Watch this. Into the second marker, get in low. That's good stuff. That will be pleasing the coach, Brian Noble. So often Brian has advocated, don't push, don't give him too much praise, don't fill their head full of stardom before they are ready for it. But let's face it, this guy has just started this game sensational.
Stuart Fielden was lucky to escape that then. It looked like a little bit of a fumble from him. Yes, Tompkins, great start to his Super League career. I must say, looking at him, he is the most slight figure that you can possibly wish to see on a rugby league field. His legs look like they will snap in a...
He's no smaller than Rob Burrow was when he first started to play for Leeds, is he?
You're right, Rob Burrow is small in stature, but look at, I mean, Sam Tompkins is well, thin, I think, slim, a slim Jim.
Not in, he's not in.
Slim Sam it is.
It looks like he's had an accident with a tin of paint as well.
This modern hairstyle, but not a bad kick either. Just put them in a good position, trying to force the error from the Bulls.
I think he's realised, hasn't he, Mike, that Mark Riddell will only get 20 minutes probably in this game before McLaurin comes on, and he needs to do something in that 20 minutes to impress the Wigan supporters who've been waiting so patiently for him to fire.
Look at him. Look at Sam Tompkins. There's nothing of him.
Doesn't matter. He's got the
talent.
goods.
Absolutely,
yeah.
He is a talent.
You don't always have to look like you and I, you know, to
Oh, they don't look like us do.
with the Adonis body. But I've been impressed with the way that he started this game. He would have been nervous, it's obvious, but he's put himself about and involved in little run-arounds and inside passes, gets down low into the tackle, eager.
This is Sam Burgess. Played the ball to Terry Newton. Now Glenn Morrison. This is a repeat of the 2001 and 2003 Old Trafford Grand Finals. Wigan and Bradford contested the first 8, but neither of them have been to Old Trafford in the last 3 years. It is Deacon for Wigan, who will hoist a high kick towards the corner. Now Richards is after this. Richards gets it too. Does well under pressure from Ricky Sharif. Stays the right side of the goal line as well.
As soon as he got that ball, he knew he had to get to the ground quickly, otherwise we're going to be taken back into the in-goal area. But it was a good kick. That's a real quality that they've got from the captain, Paul Deacon.
Sometimes when you're catching a high ball, there's a temptation to lift your feet off the ground, and I think that leaves you a bit exposed. Pat Richards, perfect there, kept his feet rooted to the ground, caught the ball and looked for the deck, so he didn't get pushed over.
Oh, and a mistake. Oh, not a mistake, it's a penalty to Wigan. Stuart Fielden will be relieved about that.
Well, there were certainly hands in there. You always see a culprit. Well, Scruton has been picked out as being the man that went for it, but you always see a culprit. They always seem to say, I've done a naughty thing, and they turn around and look at the official straight away. You can see the look at him.
There's the Lokomotiv Moscow rugby league team who are here for a Challenge Cup tie against Lee tomorrow. Oh, Palliasina meanwhile. Riddell at dummy half. This is Joel Tompkins.
Morrison would have felt that.
Deacon, rather Luluai, good ball to Richards.
Getting through a lot of work, isn't he, Palliasina?
Well, normally he comes on off the bench, but he's there tonight to soften them up. And then perhaps we'll see Eamon O'Carroll coming off the substitutes bench. Palliasina again, gets to his feet, plays it to Riddell. Riddell to Sam Tompkins. Tompkins, oh, the ball to O'Loughlin was a little low, to be fair. It was round the thighs.
The idea was there, but just a little bit too strong, just dipping. It's always a 50-50 ball. He's experienced enough, though, is Sean O'Loughlin. Nice to see Tompkins not afraid to say, I'll be the first receiver, I'll start organising out there. The Bulls need a break. They need something to lift their spirits. Wigan's defence has been pretty solid at the moment.
Go, well done.
Semi Tadulala is the man who played the ball to Ben Jeffries. To knock on. He was thinking about the offload there, Nick Scruton. And that's why when the ball hits the deck there, it's classified as a knock on, even though it appeared to ricochet backwards, but he'd lost control of it. They call that a loose carry.
Pretty 50-50 as well. Did he go over the horizontal? Either way, it was a pretty effective tackle by the loose forward.
Let's give Sean O'Loughlin some credit, though. He's made an error, he's dropped the ball, and the very next input he's given to his teammates has been a big shot like that.
Hold, go.
Richards will play the ball to Riddell. He'll give it to Gareth Hock. Scruton, trying to make up for his error, brings Gareth Hock down. Riddell, and here's Luluai. Luluai gets the ball away, picked up again by Riddell. There's the pass to Carmont. Sykes is on his back, and Morrison there for good measure as well.
Great work by Paul Sykes, the centre. Picked it out, knew it was going to be a flat pass, came in on the angle.
Fielden now, as he goes towards the sticks where all the Bradford fans are massed. He gets a good boo off them. Good ball from... Oh, great ball again. Luluai is so close. Back it comes to Tompkins. The kick is charged down. It's going to be 6 to go. It is. 6 to go. Has somebody told Pat Richards? I think they have.
Well, I got the impression there that Richards didn't realise he shaped as though he was going to kick.
Ainscough now.
Gonna have to tighten the defence up with the balls.
Riddell come down the short side with Gareth Hock. He went through them like a hot knife through butter. Extra set of 6 for Wigan, and Gareth Hock comes up with the 4-pointer. Gareth Hock with the try. Brian Noble passing a message down to the sideline. The standout performer for many people at Harlequins last week. His 100th start was against Castleford here 2 weeks ago. It was not the best for him because they lost, but here his try has built a 10-point advantage for Wigan.
It's always a gamble when you go for the charge down, and that is exactly what Steve Menzies wanted. Trouble is, he couldn't scoot it up and go the length of the field. This was a very well-worked move. Short on the blind side. Gareth Hock knew exactly what was going to happen. Dummy, Riddell. See how Carmont came on the angle. It just confused the defence sufficient. You could see there that the loose forward, Glenn Morrison, he thought Carmont was going to get the football. He wasn't. And Gareth Hock, he's having a sensational season. One of the many English players, of course, that didn't appear to stand up and show their wares down in the World Cup in Australia, and quite a few of them, they want to come back and prove to the rest of the world that they are international and world class. Well, the way that Gareth Hock is playing, I think he'd be one of the first to be selected for England this season if he keeps this up.
Richards to try and add the extras. He had an off day with the boot last week, only 2 from 5, but he's got 2 from 2 here tonight already. He missed the last home game against Castleford, only the 4th absence for him in the last 3 years, Pat Richards. And Wigan are ahead 12-0.
I think that Bradford looked really flat in this game. It appears as though their opponents, Wigan, just have far more enthusiasm at the moment. When they're carrying the ball, they're being hit with a resistance in defence that they're unable to match when it's their turn to defend and Wigan have possession. And I saw Paul Deacon talking so passionately then to his team behind the post as they waited for the Richards kick. I think he's trying to find a lift to inspire his teammates. That's not a bad start from one of them.
Newton with a good hit on young Sean Ainscough. Away form, you know, has been a problem for Bradford in the past 11 months. They've only had 2 wins on the road in that time, and both of them came in visits to the jungle to take on the Castleford Tigers, who of course finished as wooden spoonists in 2008. But Castleford have made an encouraging start to 2009, and you probably saw at half-time in their match against the Catalan Dragons, they're leading by 14 points to 12. Here, midway through this first half, Wigan are ahead 12-0. High kick, and that's a good kick as well because it finds the ground before it finds Sharif. It just gives the Wigan players an extra second or two to move up as one line of defence.
Bit of a problem for Terry Newton, the Bradford hooker, as Gareth Hock was trying to get up way downfield to play the ball. Is connected with Newton's head, but he seems to have shaken that off. It's a tough cookie, is Newton.
There's Terry Newton, who has played all 14 seasons in Super League now. One of only 5 men in the Super League this year to have a claim like that. Matt Cook will play the ball here, and it's Deacon. Tries to get away from O'Carroll. Little dip over the top. Oh, it just found the right side of the whitewash, but they were looking for Ricky Sharif.
That was excellent work from Eamon O'Carroll. Fresh on the pitch. He put pressure on Paul Deacon, not allowing him to get a kick away. I was a bit surprised to see Eamon O'Carroll on the bench. I think he's been probably the most consistent forward for Wigan this year. Had an excellent World Cup with Ireland, spent some time, and I rate this kid very, very highly. One of the best young prospects in the front row.
Only 21 years of age. This, though, tonight is Eamon O'Carroll's 50th career appearance. some experience there, isn't there? O'Loughlin finds Carmont on the blind side from the base of the scrum.
Well, it's the most adventurous play that I've seen from Wigan for many, many a day. Brian Noble, before the ball was kicked in this season, said that he'd like the team to play fast, open football. They haven't been able to do that in the build-up games, but today they're on fire, and so is this fellow at dummy half. He's been slow to settle in as Riddell, but he's done more in the 20 minutes that I've seen than he's done all season.
Steve-O, it's not an excuse. I think it's a reason that the weather is a factor when Australians come over, and we're starting earlier and earlier, we're finishing later, and it does affect these Aussies when they come over, the wet conditions, the
Look at this
crucible.
from Tompkins, Sam Tompkins for Wigan, and an important ankle tap by Morrison. He's tackled now by Michael Platt, who is taking an eternity to get off him and has conceded the penalty.
Michael Platt is claiming that he was just entangled, couldn't do anything about it. Good work.
He wasn't tackled, was he?
No, he's appealing to the referees, the young Tompkins. Michael Platt perhaps was badly done to there.
Riddell to Luluai. Here is O'Loughlin. O'Loughlin to Gareth Hock. This time they close the gate on him. Knock on by Gareth Hock. Big error that.
Certainly is. That could have really just been a big hole for this Bradford side to get out of. Again, the speed, a quick play of the ball. This is the incident. Wasn't tackled, so it puts him down. And you can see that he's got his arm trapped. Good work from the youngster, though. Little wriggle, little shuffle, gets the penalty. Boy, the Bulls were fortunate that Hock came up with the error.
Here we go. Heads in. Stay there, Tommy. Out. Well done.
The bench were signalling apparently, and the players took it in their own hands to go for 4, but the bench was signalling to go for the 2 points that were on offer then.
2.
It always tickles me, you know, when some teams, they look for advice from the coach. Other teams ignore them and just get on with the job.
Well, if it comes off, the players are heroes. If it goes the other way, the coaches give them a bit of a rollicking.
You can look at it both sides. The coach is on the sideline, he's cool and calm and he knows what's going on, but the players are in the middle. They can have a feeling for these types of things. They know when the momentum is with them, or they know whether particular players are getting fatigued.
That's a poor kick from Jeffrey straight into the arms of Pat Richards. He rides the first tackle from Deacon. He can't get away from Jeffrey's second. Here is Carmont.
Surrender. Move. Go, club.
I know we shouldn't compare players of the past to players of the present necessarily, but have a look at Sean Ainscough when he runs. Do you think he looks a little bit like Jason Robinson with his running style? He's got the hunched shoulders.
I think he looks like Dean Gaskell, who's now playing at Widnes. I had to look twice to see that it wasn't Dean Gaskell in a young man's outfit.
5.
Answer to your question, Eddie, yes, he does. He has certain style.
Well, we're going to have a look at him here. Look at the way he's running. That is Jason Robinson-esque. And he nearly picked it up as well. It's a knock-on, though, against him.
Turn over there, guys.
Oh, it looks as though he picked up a bit of an injury as well.
Yes, he got a crack on the ankle, I think, here.
Super kick. I'm not so sure that Ben Thaler would have not gone to the video referee if that would have gone and they would have scored the try.
He's got a body full of enthusiasm, and I think that's one of the things that the Wigan fans are getting excited about. When he runs okay, he overran the ball there and he's whacked his leg in the process. But that enthusiasm really has been a significant difference. I think he's infected 1 or 2 of his teammates, and Wigan look very good here tonight.
I think you're right, Phil, because last week against Harlequins, I got the impression that the stars, the so-called stars of Wigan, didn't really want to get involved, and yet the young fellas, Ainscough and Tompkins, and I'm pleased that Brian Noble has had the confidence to put them out yet again.
Kids have no fear, though. When they come into games like that, they're not bothered. They're just playing to enjoy themselves. The experienced players know the pressure that they're under when they lose a couple of games.
There was just a moment then when the Wigan defence on the right-hand side was under a bit of pressure, but Bradford couldn't find a way through it. Here is Ainscough again.
Seems to have recovered from an ankle injury. I must say, though, Steve McNamara will be furious at their kicking game. For many years, Paul Deacon has been the architect of so many wins for the Bulls, but they're just kicking the ball right down the throat of the defender.
Riddell has been taken off the field by Brian Noble. McIlaurin is out there now, but that was a very good 26 minutes work from Mark Riddell. There's great applause from the Wigan crowd as he left the field. Here is O'Carroll.
5, move guys!
By far his best performance, the Australian Riddell.
Luluai switches the direction of the attack. Up goes the high kick from Richards. Well claimed by Platt. Oh, and he has got Sam Tompkins offside, Ben Thaler. Tompkins has given himself a bang as well in the process here.
Yep.
Yeah, and he was in front of the kicker. Good decision by Ben Thaler.
Certainly was, and inexperience showing there, because Thaler shouted and pointed, "You're in front, leave him alone."
18-12 now in Perpignan in Castlefort's favour.
Go.
Going really well, Castleford this year. That 12 months in Super League last year of hard lessons that really has done them good, stands them in good stead for what's to come in 2009.
Very lethargic attack here from Bradford. This inside pass can be effective if they're running onto it, but most of the time they're flat-footed, standing still. Even the introduction of Wayne Godwin hasn't really sparked them up.
Jeffries takes the last tackle here from the Wigan defence. Godwin then finds Deacon, jinks back inside. Kick is, well, hopeful more than anything else.
He's virtually said, "Here you are, Mr. Richards, just take it." You know, get a bit of height on it. It confuses everybody. You've got to be very, very strong and brave to go and try to take the ball, but you can always get the ricochet.
Here's Fielden.
3, move!
Luluai, dummy half. Hock.
4.
Good hit from the Bradford defender there. Paul Sykes it was. Now Luluai again, operating in his World Cup winning role at the moment. Although McIlaurin in at dummy half there. This is the last tackle. That's a great kick. This could be a 40-20. He's got the wrong bounce. Michael Platt shuttled across and picked it up. Platt has to run laterally, gets the ball away. Sharif, good run up the middle. Halted by Stuart Fielden.
Good work by the fullback. Platt realised, and well read by Ricky Sharif. Gave him the opportunity to come in field, make those extra few metres forward, which has been a problem. This is one of the few occasions when they've gone through the set of 6 that they're going to get over the halfway line.
It's Ben Jeffries. 4th tackle for Bradford, this set of 6. Godwin again. They go down the short side with Morrison. Morrison under pressure. He got the ball away. And Amos Roberts picks up the pieces for Wigan.
Why force the pass? You're going to get to a point where you're going to utilise your kicker. Just panic.
They've got a penalty here, Wigan. I think maybe the ball, to be fair to Morrison, I think maybe he lost control of it a bit. He just palmed it back. But here's a penalty for Wigan for holding down.
I'm with you, Phil. There's lack of spark in the Bulls outfit at the moment. Not taking anything away from the Wigan defence.
The thing that's happened for Bradford, they've played in 2 games where they've dominated their opponents and yet not scored the points. Now you wonder whether they can store that memory from the last 2 games and think, listen, we only need 1 chance and we can be back to this 12-6 in this game. They have to hang on in here now. This is about mental toughness now for them. Starved of possession and playing in their own half of the field. That mental toughness, what you need if you want to be a champion side, will get to be tested here in the next set 9 minutes.
They've had a real stop-start to their Super League campaign, though, Bradford, haven't they? They were due to play at Harlequins, and then that match was postponed because of an icy pitch. He's got them here for a knock-on and a forward pass.
Yeah.
But back to that point, Harlequins had arranged the game with Manley. As we watch this mistake from Wigan, they arranged the game with Manley, and it was called off the opening game against Bradford. It was moved forward because of that. And Steve McNamara is very well aware that his team are a little bit behind the rest in terms of preparation for the start of the season. It really has been a stop-start job for them. Let's go down to Bill on the sideline. I think Steve McNamara's got more problems, Bill.
Concern about the fitness of Chris Nero at the moment. It looks like a left ankle problem for Nero. He's had a couple of visits from the physio on the run. He's still out there, presumably going to try and keep it going until half-time. But of course, Bulls have got their problems on the sidelines. Langley is on the bench, of course, shoulder problem. David Solomona out as well. Andy Lynch as well, unavailable. So they could do without any more injury problems.
Good indeed. Oh, this is Menzies, though, who steps through. And he's got support with him, but the referee was right in the way there. He really did get in the way. Ball went backwards, though, there off that tackle and finds Michael Platt. Platt gives it some air and gives it to Nero. Nero's taking on Sam Tompkins. Tompkins and O'Loughlin get the tackle in. Here now is Warrensey. This is Bradford's first real chance. Last tackle here, Godwin. Godwin to Deacon. Deacon. Oh, it's an awful ball to Jeffries. To be fair to Ben Jeffries, that wasn't the best from the Bradford skipper.
He had to lean in. Oh, that was a shocker. And really, the break from Menzies. Here it comes through. Now watch the referee. Jeffries, he can't even see it. The referee, Ben Thaler. Well, that turned out into 14 men in defence for Wigan on that occasion.
One. Move! Glenn!
Just going back to Bradford's indifferent start to the season in terms of matches played. Phil, do you honestly think the NRL would have disrupted their competition to allow the Leeds Rhinos a game to warm up for a World Club Challenge had it been held in Australia?
Possibly not, but maybe we're trying to catch up and compete commercially. There's different reasons for that, aren't there? But that's no excuse here for Bradford looking flattered either. They haven't had a fluency or a speed, really, have they, when they've had the ball? I know they've had to do a lot of work in defence, but Wigan have just played so well. Yes, it's a good performance from Wigan in this first half. Having said that, and we were talking about this at Huddersfield last night, weren't we? It's only 12 points, just as it was last night when Hull were ahead of the Huddersfield Giants. The margin of superiority for Wigan isn't that great.
Oh, he can
Bradford are in this.
Yeah, he can still turn around, but there's a few things that Steve McNamara has to sort out. One is the kicking game, which has been nothing short of woeful.
Deacon, and here's Jeffries.
Do you know what? They're continually testing Sam Tompkins in defence. They must have an idea that that's the way to break through Wigan's line, but to this point in the match, you know what? They've had no joy, have they, by going to their left-hand side.
Now this needs height.
Okay, kick it clear.
Straight into the arms of Ainscough.
He must be ripping his hair out, Steve McNamara, the coach. He's going to have plenty to say about that.
Go. Okay.
Luluai, a little scoop from dummy half there. Wigan crowd thinking that the Bradford defenders there, Warrensey and Morrison, were stood in an offside position. Here's Harrison Hansen, has the hands free, able to get the ball away to O'Loughlin.
Surrender! Move! Go.
Tompkins. O'Carroll
Movement!
gets them over halfway. Luluai. Hock hit that ball at pace and from a deep position, but Bradford's defence stand up to the task. He didn't play that the right way. He was facing the touchline when he played that. Gareth Hock, he's lucky to get away with that.
Certainly is. And that was turning the clock back. Every play of the ball years and years ago used to be like this.
Good skill from him. Good skill. His shoulders are facing the touchline. He still manages to play it back. Gareth Hock run from deep, run full-on flush at Paul Deacon, just bashed him out of the way. And just as Phil identified that Bradford were looking to isolate Sam Tompkins, I think we're going to do in the same.
Praising the skill of Gareth Hock, but the rules state that he has to stand up and face his opponents, goal line and play the ball, not face the touchline.
I thought the rules were just guidelines rather than...
You've made a career out of it, Barry.
I have.
Hold it.
4 to half-time.
Well,
We're going to head 12-0.
You broke them often enough. You should know them. Oh, that was a high shot there.
Harrison on Glenn Morrison.
Yeah, silly play. Just come into the fray and then gives Bradford a chance to get 40 metres downfield.
I'm going to disagree. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, me. I think he's hit the ball and ricocheted up. I think he's hard done to, though.
Barry, we've got the rule book here. We'll
guidelines. The guidelines.
We'll read it to you later, Barry.
Don't confuse me.
Well, Barry, I think
we'll put it on the cassette for you, so as you go to sleep.
They don't have cassettes anymore,
don't
Eddie.
they?
No.
All right.
iPods.
All right. Well, we'll iPod it then.
Podcasts.
So before you belted a bloke, Barry, you used to just touch the ball first.
No, I just went right for them, particularly if they were just being flippant with me, you know, trying to intellectually challenge me. I could beat you with my mind, but I'll just bash you.
Morrison finds Chris Nero battling on, as Bill said, with injury problems, we think. It's Jeffries now. Menzies was the runner, but this is Platt. He finds Paul Sykes. Sykes gets a good ball in field. Good defence though from Wigan. The last tackle, it was on Sam Burgess. Here is Jeffries. Deacon slides the kick in. Tompkins does well to smother that ball. Wonderful little bounce.
Looking to get away with that. Carmont was obstructed to try to get into dummy half. But fair play from Sam Tompkins. It was a good, neat little kick, chip into, going towards the in-goal area, but he ready. Oh, it's dangerous to do that.
It is. Coley, one-handed, gives it to Hock. Hock gets through. Menzies finds Luluwai. Great fluency here from Wigan. Oh, knock on by Sharif, was it?
He's claiming that Luluwai got a fingertip to it first. We'll have to wait and see.
No, it's Wigan head and feet, says Ben Taylor.
Well, what a change around by this Wigan outfit. Barely a few days ago, the Wigan fans were saying Brian Noble out, and now they're playing like world champions. This has been revelation. Little wonder the cherry and white fans there cheering with gusto. It's been outstanding 40 minutes from this Wigan outfit.
It has, but it's only 12-0. I'll come back to that point. This game is not beyond Bradford yet.
No, you're right.
Two. Movement! Okay.
Here is Coley again. Trundling the ball forward, Coley. Good leg drive. 10 metres inside the Bradford half of the field. He plays it there to Macilorum. Here is O'Loughlin, and this is Gareth Hock, and here is George Carmont. And that could be a very crucial try for Wigan in this match. And a very crucial try against Bradford. They will probably, if Richards keeps the shooting boots on, they will probably turn around 18-0 down rather than the 12. And 18 just might be a little bit beyond them. We shall see. But they had men in numbers down the left-hand side, and George Carmont, well, ever-present last year. This is his 38th consecutive appearance tonight. He got a try last week against the Quins as well.
Sensational stuff. Quick hands. O'Loughlin gave it away. Right through the gap goes Hock, and Carmont finishes it off. That will please Brian Noble more than any other passage of play in the first half. Kept his cool, did Hock. Carmont just on his shoulder. And this is what it means to a bunch of fans who for the first 3 weeks had little to smile about. They've plenty to do with it now. Quick hands, wow. We marvelled at the quick hands from Manley many days ago. But that
6,
was
actually.
Was it? Well, that's many.
I know it's a long time for you, Steve. Well, you can't remember what happened yesterday. But anyway, never mind. Here is Richards.
Many.
18-0. Wigan will turn round with a handsome advantage. There's the half-time siren. Richards with 3 conversions and a try. Hock and Carmont The Wigan supporters, as Steve-O said, they were very worried. There were furrowed brows a couple of weeks ago. Now look at them. They're on their feet, and it's a standing ovation as the Warriors leave the field for half-time.